Alright, so I was going to talk about my Colonial Pistol Kit. So here it is, my Colonial Pistol Kit. Looks like it's a great yard sale find. It actually wasn't. I had got my gun rights back, and obviously I'm not able to own modern firearms, but I can own antiques because federal government just won't accept them because of Washington State. You can go in back videos and I explain the crap out of it. I don't want to talk about it anymore, but whatever. So I can own antique firearms. It cost me $4,000. And the next time I go to court, it needs to be in a federal courthouse, and I need to bring $10,000 so I can ask the government to supply a reason why a lifetime ban should stand. Besides the point, let's go back to the Colonial Pistol Kit. And so I've always, like my whole life, before I was a dumbass felon and being a dumb shit kid on the streets, slamming dope, I always wanted to be able to own muzzleloaders my whole life. And just the journey to get here is it's a long road. But I'm so happy and grateful that I'm here. And I'll just start there. Okay, Colonial Pistol Kit. Flintlock or percussion, see the label. So this is a percussion. I don't have any flintlocks yet. I do plan on owning flintlocks. You'll see them on my channel once I get a hold of them. And eventually, when the LT Murray is available, it's like a place for people to go and shoot. Then I will bring all my guns out there and shoot them and film it. And I've got GoPros, and we'll just get out there and do all that kind of jazz. But for right now, I'm doing a bunch of tabletops and just kind of showing people what I'm doing. This is the CVA Connecticut Valley Arms. And this was made in Spain, Colonial Pistol Kit. Now I'm pretty sure this is quite an old kit. There's all the pieces you get right there. And they're really rough. Like, I bought a kit for a musket from Cabela's, and I'd have to say that kit was work, but you didn't really have to shape the metal. This kit, you gotta work, and I would say that I'm not advanced, but it's advanced. How about that? So yeah, I have made jewelry from scratch, lost wax casting, all this stuff. I have sanded and polished forever. My first jewelry teacher said that, and that was Marty Levins. He said there's no way around it. Polishing is a bitch, and from that moment on, I believe him. And so this is really an art project, and anything else other than that, it's just not true. You really got to pour some time into this kit, and I have, and I haven't been rushing it. I've wanted to rush it because I want it done. I want to be able to load it, all that jazz, but it's not a good thing. Anyway, I guess your instructions are on the box. I never got any other instructions. Just talks about putting it together. I've only kept this part of it because I wanted to kind of document it and film it. This is the box. And it's got, the different kits that they were doing. This is the CVA Colonial Pistol Kit. I don't know. Man, when they used to write with feathers in ink. What a beautiful... And there's the action right there on the CVA. So, this is like really a piece of history, And I've really liked this journey so far. Anyway, I was only keeping that. I was going to throw it away. It came with this. This was, holding everything down. I'm going to go ahead and throw that away. What brings me to my next piece, the wood piece. I've done like an astronomical amount of sanding. Obviously, I didn't know how to finish the wood to where everything was even, but I've sanded this thing to where it's just like super smooth. This thing was like, I mean, I sanded it. So I sanded it with like different sandpapers, and you really had to work at it because it was very rough. And there's still a little hole here, so I might fill that and, you know, apply more time into it. I know that I need to carve out some pieces, because back over to where I was saying that this kit is work. That's all there is to it. I don't really know how else to say that other than you get pieces. They will eventually all go together, but you gotta earn it. It's not like it's just done. You know, you can't just snap this piece in because you got a rough cast and then you've got this, you know, cut out, which is approximately what it should be. And I'm at the point where I need to carve some more. I mean, I've got this piece to sit, you know, and I've been working on the polish, but I need to work on the polish some more before I seat it. But, you know, there's just a little bit more that needs to be done where it just can snap into place. I mean, I have snapped it in there, but I wasn't happy with the way that it looked, so I think I'm going to get some wood carving tools that I'm going to carve a little bit and sand a little bit more on each piece until each piece fits like really well. Anyway, I don't want to get that stuck in there again, so anyway. Yeah, and it comes with the ramrod. I can kind of show you that. Like, okay, so the ramrod hole is kind of really good. I really like how that ramrod sits in there. I've blued the barrel. Not the best bluing job in the world, but I'm kind of happy with it. Probably look pretty good when it's all oiled up. Kind of just sits in there. You know, and eventually it'll have its action coming off of it. That'll be over here somewhere. Yep, and then it'll have its brass piece. So its trigger assembly. This trigger assembly came really wide compared to the hole that it gave me to go in. So it won't even go in there. So I've been sanding on it. Eventually I'm going to sand on this a little bit more, make it smooth. Still not going in there though. And so I've got to, you know, put all these pieces together and they've all got to, you know, connect. But this is, you know, where you load a cap, cock it, pull the trigger, and boom, you know, load a ball, put it in there, bam, ram it down. Anyway, so I used a bluing kit I got from Weimar. Wow, I don't even want to come out of there. It sits in there really well, and I have done a lot of sanding, and I might want to do a little bit more on here and then blue it again so it's smooth against the wood. Again, I never even considered like all the work, and I couldn't even imagine what gunsmiths go through, you know, like, I mean, I think one of the reasons the federal government doesn't control anything like this is because this would be the receiver, and it's a piece of wood. How do you control a piece of wood? Like, it's illegal to own a tree. All of those are, all trees are 0% receivers. Yeah. Anyway, pretty soon they'll be coming for this, like, you know, one-shot capacity gun. Anyways, so I really like the brass. I mean, the brass is fun. I love it when there's brass on a gun. You know, like, brass is one of my favorites. I mean, I've showed this in like other videos. You know, that whole brass and how it patinas is just beautiful to me. You know, I know that this stock gun is not going to last as long as some of my other ones that have the, you know, the steel and the hardened steel, you know, frame, and that's fine. But to me, the brass is just beautiful, you know, on these guns. I'm going to talk about that gun. I wasn't really going to. I was just saying that this is kind of what I always wanted to own. Anyway, so I was working this, and I was kind of sanding it and everything. Anyway, the color I chose was, I went over to Ace Hardware down the street, and the wood finish is penetrating stain. It is semi-transparent, and then the color is Espresso 273 by Minwax or whatever, premium oil. I chose it because it just seemed a little bit dark. The last time I worked on something, I did really light, and I'm not sure I'm happy with it, so I'm probably going to take it apart and sand it and do it again before I showcase that musket. Because this is all a learning process to me. Like, what does it look like? I wanted to go darker here, but I wanted it to kind of be an even color, and that mocha to me is what I was looking for. And of course, you can do any other colors you want. Again, I did the bluing, and the original bluing that I had was like that Cabela's thing that I had done, and eventually I'll show that is the bluing and how to blue it, and you got to blue it, and then some people heat them up, and I guess there's all kinds of different ways, but you know, it still came out. I'm happy with the way it came out. Obviously, it's not as good as some people's blue jobs, but you know, for my third time I blued something, I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, so it's got all the other pieces. I've worked on this piece. This was rough, and it's still got, I believe, a long way to go. Maybe I'm halfway, but I'm telling you, this one was a cast piece, and this trigger guard is absolutely work. I have filed and filed, and I've got it to sit, and I've had to kind of spread it out a little bit because I'm trying to get it to go in there, and eventually this has to go in there on top of, you know, the trigger guard, and so this one's got to sit in there too. And so I think the point is that, you know, I've been filing and sanding, just trying to get it smooth, and then I'm going to really, you know, and I've got a lot of this other stuff kind of like smoother. You know, I've been using a little bit of Dremel tool on it, a little bit of hand filing. But once I get it all together, you got to fit it in with this trigger guard. I mean, this trigger guard's got to fit in with the trigger itself. And like I said, this piece has got a ways to go before it's going inside there. So get ready. This post is pretty smelly still, because after I use my wood finish mocha, I use the polyurethane oil-based clear satin. Anyway, this is the one that I put on top of my wood gun coats. I'm just trying to show that so everybody knew. So this is what I stained it with, and this is what I did it with. I mean, obviously, if you've done it different, or you would do it your way, you can go ahead. But here we are. This is where I'm at. So this is a work in progress. This is not something that I'm trying to rush, because I'm trying not to mess it up. And honestly, it's been fun the whole time. This is like what I like to do, you know. And if it's not like fixing up like an old laptop and making it work, then this has kind of been my hobby, just working on my old Colonial Pistol Kit. Now eventually I want to move on. After I get this one done, I want to get to the flintlock, you know, and then build a flintlock. You know, yeah, I don't necessarily think that you know, it's the best thing out there to like defend yourself with, but I'm not really doing it for that. I like building these because, I mean, it's like a part of history, and to me it's fun, you know. And eventually I want to learn how to do some checkering. I don't know that I'm going to do it to this gun, but eventually I want to learn how to do some checkering on some of these, so where you can like hold it, but I don't want it to look messed up, so I'll probably practice on some different kinds of wood, maybe. Anyway, that's it. So this is my Colonial Pistol Kit. Just wanted to show it off before I switched containers. This whole other container was really falling apart, so I was going to go to some more modern plastic, and put everything that was in the kit inside of a plastic tote. Here's the sight, the side piece, screws, another piece of the paper. It's a long time. Anyway, so that's the styrofoam piece that it came in. And they're a long time. Yeah, I wasn't really planning on keeping that stuff anymore, but I wanted to get it on a video showing it. And then when I come more progress and I get it more put together, I'll bring it up again in a video and I'll talk about it, like how far I've gone. And I'll get some of my other muskets up there, because I've got a few long arms that I haven't shown. They're muskets. They're all like antique, cap firing, percussion firing. And then I've got another pellet gun that I got out. It's a 6-hour pellet gun, holds 30 rounds, and it uses a high PSI air. So I've got a pump that I'm gonna fix up. It's like a pump where it pumps both backing up, and it'll get it up to, I think it's 3,000 PSI. Anyway, that's like the 6-hour thing that I got going on. And I've got some other projects, and that's kind of where I'm at with my defensive shooting. But I think that some of my favorite stuff, if you're going to defend yourself, just get yourself a sheriff. Now, I don't know if this pandemic really, if you can't get a regular firearm and you can get yourself like cap and ball, then get yourself a sheriff. I mean, these things were $200. I would rather have one of these than $200. I mean, this is like a $15 thing on eBay. You can extend your hammer. You can also hold it down, so you can just fan it. Yeah, this thing is beautiful. I mean, I love these. These are my favorite. I mean, it's not that heavy. This is probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever owned. Anyway, you've seen them in other videos that I've had. If you don't, just look through them. You'll see my cat and ball revolvers. I'm proud of them. They're my favorite. But getting into the old school is where I'm headed. Eventually I want to have a blunderbuss. At some point I want the black powder cannon, so we'll see. Creation willing, universe willing, I'll get there.